Donald Trump, I think, just ruled out running for a third term in 2028. All right, let's go through it. So, there's been a lot of speculation about Donald Trump running again because his campaign is selling 2028 Trump 2028 hats. So, Kristen Welker, moderator of Meet the Press, on Sunday asked Trump about the hats and said, "What's the deal? Are you thinking about running?" And here's what Trump said. "I will say this. So many people want me to do it. I have never had a request so strong as that, but it's something that, to the best of my knowledge, you're not allowed to do. I don't know if that's constitutional that they're not allowing you to do it or anything else." All right, let me stop there for a second. Okay. The 22nd Amendment of the Constitution says you can't get elected president or serve as president for more than 2 terms. It was put in place after Franklin Delano Roosevelt served for, well, parts of 4 terms. He died early in his 4th term. It seems pretty clear-cut constitutionally that you cannot, in fact, run for a 3rd term. And that includes Donald Trump being elected in 2016, serving a term, losing, then coming back in 2024, winning, and serving another term. That's 2 total terms. It would seem like an airtight case, but I just want to, Trump said more, and I want to go through that, but I just want to talk about the first quote there. What's fascinating to me is he basically says, lots of people are asking me to do it, and they've never been stronger. I've never had stronger requests than this. But apparently you're not allowed to do it. Like, the Constitution is the part over here, and the rando people saying I should do it is over here. These 2 things are not equal, just to be totally clear. That's not the same thing. You are constitutionally barred from running for a 3rd term as president. It's not the same as someone coming up to you on the street and saying, "Hey man, you should be president again," or selling hats. All right, let me continue on with what Trump said. This is more of the same quote. "But there are many people selling the 2028 hat, but this is not something I'm looking to do. I'm looking to have 4 great years and turn it over to somebody, ideally a great Republican to carry it forward. But I think we're going to have 4 years, and I think 4 years is plenty of time to do something really spectacular." Okay, now that to me feels like Trump basically ruling it out. Like, if you take that whole quote, and it is definitely further than he's been willing to go in the past. He's been asked about 2028 a fair amount in the first 3 months of his presidency because he keeps hinting at it. And in the past, he said, like, well, people have told me that that's something that I might be able, I might be able to challenge that, but I'm not looking at challenging it. We're just going to have 4 great years. But people who know say that there may be some wiggle room there or whatever. So he appears to be saying here, you can't do it, and I'm looking forward to turning this over to a great Republican. So that's pretty definitive. It's about as definitive as Donald Trump is going to get. Now, I will note, he said this, but it's something that, to the best of my knowledge, you're not allowed to do. So, to the best of my knowledge is doing a lot of work there, right? It gives him an out. And I think people will look at this and say, like, well, I mean, he sort of said he's not going to do it, but he also didn't totally rule it out. Now, let me tell you why I think he continues to keep it out there. But before I do that, I want you to subscribe. It's a simple request. Become a subscriber to this channel. It's free and it's easy. You just have to hit the subscribe button. It does me a world of good. The bigger I grow, the more people see this stuff, the more people get my perspective. And I'm going to tell you why I think that perspective is important and why you should subscribe and tell others to subscribe. Independence. Independence is the word. Independent from 2 important things. 1, independent from billionaire media owners or massive media conglomerates. It's just me. Nobody owns me. It's just me telling you what I think about politics. I will never do or say something because some big boss told me to do or say it. Second way independence matters. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I've been a journalist, spent 20 plus years in mainstream media at Washington Post and CNN, among other places. And I'm not going to look at things whether I think it's a Republican thing, it's good, or a Democratic thing, it's bad. I am calling balls and strikes no matter what uniform the batter at the plate is wearing. I hope you can get behind that. All right, so why does Trump keep the 2028 talk out there? And why is he so resistant to say, no, I absolutely under no circumstances will run, which again, he does not say in that interview with Kristen Welker on Meet the Press, though he gets closer to that than I think he's ever gotten before. It's pretty simple. I think Donald Trump would like to be president beyond 2028. I think he believes in his heart of hearts that his first term was derailed because of Democrats, Russia, and lawfare. I think he genuinely believes that, and that he didn't get a fair shake, and that he absolutely deserves another term. And the way that he knows he deserves another term is because people are selling hats and people are coming up to him in very strong terms and telling him he should run again. And there's this guy in Congress named Andy Ogles, a Tennessee Republican congressman, who's sponsoring a bill to let him run again. So the point is like, he thinks he should get another term. There's no question about that. If you said, Mr. President, like you could run again if you wanted to, he absolutely would run. He loves being president because he is at the center of it all. Donald Trump spent his entire life feeling as though he was on the outside looking in, right? His father was a big developer, but in Queens, not Manhattan. Then Donald Trump comes to Manhattan and he's a big developer, but the wealthy, old money people won't let them into his club, so he's got to start his own clubs. In 2011, he comes to Washington to break into the political establishment. But again, he feels like he's got his face pressed up against the glass because they make fun of him. Seth Meyers, Barack Obama, everybody laughs at him at that White House Correspondents' Dinner. Now he is the prime mover. He is at the center, and he does not want to give that up. So yes, if you could say to Donald Trump, would you like to be president longer? Of course he wants to be president longer. And his whole life is about keeping optionality open, right? He never rules anything in or out. He writes about this in The Art of the Deal. He talks about it all the time, which is if you're a really good negotiator, you keep all options on the table. You don't ever say, I absolutely would not do fill in the blank thing, because that limits your ability to be a deal maker and your ability to negotiate. I think that's kind of why he refuses to make a Sherman-esque, I will not run, I will not allow myself to be recruited to run, right? All of those things, I think he refuses to do because he wants to kind of keep the option open, because it's only 2025, right? It's not 2028. So why would he rule out doing something in 2028 that he would like to do if he could keep it open, keep the possibility open without causing too much trouble? And that's kind of what he's doing. Now, people will say, Chris, what about the Constitution? Now, I will note to you, I mentioned the Constitution right at the start of this. And to my reading, and to all the legal scholars I've seen, the 22nd Amendment is clear. You cannot serve for more than 2 terms as the President of the United States. Could you push J.D. Vance as the president and be the VP and run things? I suppose that's an option. But the Constitution is clear here, right? But remember, Donald Trump is not a gigantic believer in the Constitution. I will note in that same Kristen Welker interview, she asked him whether it's the president's job to uphold the Constitution, and he responded, I don't know. Okay? He basically saying like, it's the lawyer's job to do that. I'll do what the lawyers say. But that again is just giving him optionality, right? Keeping all of his options open, not boxing him in any way. So the Constitution to me is not a giant constraint on Donald Trump. I think right now, at least, he thinks if he said, yeah, I'm going to run for another term, there would be a revolt among Republicans. Now, whether there would be or not, I don't know, but there would be a revolt. He thinks there would be a revolt among Republican elected officials who said, like, this is a bridge too far. The Constitution says that he can't run anymore. But what if he tills the soil and just keeps the option slightly open through 2027, and now it's 2028, and maybe people are happy with the job he's doing? Again, he would like to be president again, fact one. Fact two, he's not a huge believer that the Constitution should limit him. He thinks he's a president. He should do whatever the hell he wants. So I think that this is as close as he has come to ruling it out, right? He says that this is not something I'm looking to do. I'm looking to have 4 great years and turn it over to somebody, ideally a great Republican to carry it forward. But that is not saying I will never run for this. It is constitutionally barred and I'm not going to do it. It's as close as Donald Trump comes, but that doesn't mean he's ruling it out. So he's coming close to the line, but again, preserving his ability, if circumstances change, for him to stay. And no, the Constitution would not, in his mind, be a block, although I think it would be a giant court case and I think he would probably lose. But point being, he's walking up to the I won't run line, but he certainly is not crossed into the I will never run under any circumstances in 2028. And my guess is He may never say that because he always wants to keep the option open that if it becomes a possibility somehow, some way, that he is in a place to take advantage of it. Okay, everybody, take good care.